The year 2024 tested humanity's resilience. It brought not only devastating natural disasters, but also new environmental anomalies that specialists encountered for the first time. How to counter the climate threat is already known, and today, in this episode, you will learn what needs to be done right now. In this episode, we continue to review the climate outcomes of the past year and focus on storms and several lesser-studied atmospheric anomalies. Storms. In recent months, especially in 2024, storms have become unusually powerful, affecting vast areas. On December 7th, Storm Dara brought chaos to several Western European countries. Ferry services between Ireland and the United Kingdom were completely suspended, which negatively affected the logistics of both countries. Broken trees and power poles blocked railways and highways. Thousands of flights were cancelled or rerouted. Wind speeds reached 150 kilometers per hour, causing severe disruptions to the internet, mobile communication, and leaving over 2 million homes and businesses without electricity. A 120-meter barge ran aground off the French coast after hurricane-force winds drove it from the United Kingdom across the English Channel. In September 2024, Storm Boris brought powerful winds and heavy rainfall to Central and Eastern Europe. It became one of the 10 most expensive climate disasters of 2024 worldwide. The Czech Republic suffered the greatest losses, where, in some areas, more than half a year's worth of rainfall fell in just 4 days. Cities and villages in the Yeseniki Mountains were submerged. In some areas, the water level rose up to 2 meters, isolating them from the rest of the world. In Romania, rescue services used boats for evacuating people, and helicopters were deployed for emergency assistance. In the Polish city of Strony Śląskie, a dam breach caused the collapse of a bridge and flooding of streets and homes. In Europe, the water levels in 8,500 kilometers of rivers doubled compared to the average annual maximum. Storm Boris dumped a huge amount of rain as it became trapped between 2 high-pressure areas and remained stationary for an extended period. In the Austrian Alps, strong winds and snowfall lasting nearly 48 hours created extremely unfavorable conditions. In Australia, a storm system, which experts called a rain bomb, also moved very slowly. On December 30th, it hit Queensland and brought an enormous amount of rainfall for the region, up to 180 millimeters, in just 1 day. In the city of Kingaroy, 120 millimeters of rain fell in just 2 hours. One of the threatening features of this storm was its sudden intensification within just 1 hour. This is what caught many people unprepared. Businesses and homes were instantly flooded. In some areas, the water level on the roads reached 1 meter. Although meteorologists suggest that such severe flooding occurs no more than once every 100 years. The storm that struck the Pacific coast of the US and Canada on November 19th was characterized by experts as a bomb cyclone due to its rapid development. Its intensification rate was more than twice the threshold required for such a classification. This storm turned out to be one of the most powerful in the history of observations in the region.
Fortunately, there are tips you can take.
The consequences were further exacerbated by the simultaneous impact of a strong atmospheric river. As these two phenomena interacted, they intensified each other, making the situation unpredictably dangerous. One of the alarming characteristics of recent storms is their ability to rapidly intensify while moving at a slow speed, which inevitably leads to heavy rainfall. This behavior has also become common among tropical cyclones in recent years. More details on this are covered in the second part of the annual review of climate disasters. During storms, winds are increasingly reaching speeds typical of tropical hurricanes. On March 31st, a convective storm hit the city of Fuzhou in China's Jiangxi province, where wind speeds reached hurricane Category 1 levels. This set a new record for the region. On April 6th and 7th, in the South African province of Western Cape, winds with gusts up to 44 meters per second were strong enough to blow trucks off a bridge. On the hurricane scale, this corresponds to a Category 2 storm. On March 28th, Storm Nelson brought winds with gusts similar to those of a Category 3 hurricane to French Brittany. On March 14th, a powerful cyclone struck the southern part of Kamchatka, Russia. Hurricane-force winds uprooted trees, destroyed traffic lights, knocked pedestrians off their feet, and effortlessly swept cars off the roads. Gusts reached 60 meters per second, which corresponds to a Category 4. The unusual strength of storms is also evident in the phenomenon known as lake effect snow. This occurrence is often observed in the US and Canada when cold Arctic air meets the unusually warm waters of the Great Lakes. However, at the end of November, the volume of precipitation was truly impressive. A powerful multi-day blizzard struck the northeastern states of the US and the Canadian province of Ontario. In some areas, snow fell at a rate of up to 10 centimeters per hour, leading to the establishment of absolute records. The snowstorm completely paralyzed road traffic. The storm was accompanied by thunderstorms and water spouts, which is extremely rare during the winter period. The lake effect was also observed in Italy when the cold, stormy air of Storm Elena crossed the warm waters of the Adriatic in December, causing heavy rain along the coastline and heavy snowfall in the Apennine Mountains. Residents of the Abruzzo region found themselves snowed in during the Christmas holidays. In the town of Campo di Giove, the snow depth reached nearly 1.5 meters. Storm Elena also affected other European countries. In Croatia, the largest solar power plant, which had been opened just a year ago, was destroyed by hurricane-force wind gusts. In certain areas of Serbia, due to heavy snowfall, rail services were suspended for a full 5 days. Storm winds, torrential rains, and blizzards paralyzed daily life in Bosnia and Herzegovina, turning many areas into disaster zones. In eastern Drvar, there were power and mobile communication outages, while snowdrifts, reaching several meters, completely blocked roads. Even ambulances were unable to reach patients. Modern storms have become so unusual that predicting them has turned into a serious challenge. Experts are increasingly making mistakes in assessing their dynamics. This raises significant concerns as the time available to prepare for the impact of the storm is shrinking. On December 14th, just a day before the subtropical cyclone Bigua reached Brazil, predictive models provided completely contradictory scenarios for its development, putting meteorologists in a difficult position. In the state of Rio Grande do Sul, the cyclone brought powerful wind gusts reaching 100 kilometers per hour. These winds caused power outages for hundreds of thousands of consumers and inflicted significant damage to infrastructure in several cities. In April, strong storms are very rare in the United Kingdom. In the past 10 years, this has happened only once. However, in April 2024, the country faced 2 such events within just 3 days. On April 5th, Storm Kathleen completely disrupted airport operations, as well as rail and ferry services. Wind speeds reached 31 meters per second. By April 8th, Storm Pirik struck the southern regions of the country, causing a huge tide. Coastal areas were hit by destructive waves. Another unusual phenomenon was recorded in southern Africa. Snowfall is a rare occurrence here, usually only observed in winter and in mountainous areas, and it rarely leads to serious consequences. However, in 2024, from September 20th, snowstorms affected Lesotho and South Africa. In some regions, snowdrifts reached up to 2 meters in height. This snowfall was unexpectedly late and heavy, exceeding the norms even for the middle of the winter season. Even more surprising to the locals was the snow that fell on November 5th in the Eastern Cape, as the country typically enters summer in this month. In recent years, particularly in 2024, there has been a significant increase in the activity of powerful storms known as convective storms worldwide. Elevated ocean water temperatures and high atmospheric humidity have created ideal conditions for the formation of such phenomena. These storms often lead to gusty winds, heavy rainfall, hail, and occasionally tornado outbreaks. The formation of storms is becoming increasingly rapid and difficult to predict. On April 7th, a powerful storm struck Bangladesh. In some areas, it lasted only 15 minutes, but was enough to destroy more than 750 homes and damage agriculture. In the Bola district alone, over 7,000 people were affected, and 13 lost their lives. The storm had not been predicted in advance, and many farmers were killed by lightning strikes as they continued working outdoors. The combination of destructive natural phenomena that occur during powerful storms leads to massive economic losses, which are increasingly comparable to the damages caused by hurricanes. In a report by Munich Re, the largest insurance company, it was noted that in 2024, severe storms caused damage worth $57 billion in the US alone. Notably, the losses were just slightly below the record set in 2023. Starting from May 6th, the central United States faced a series of destructive convective storms. The country's National Weather Service issued over 300 warnings about extremely dangerous weather conditions, including lightning, heavy hail, and destructive wind gusts. More than 60 tornado warnings were also issued. In Oklahoma, the storm produced a powerful EF4 tornado, causing significant damage in the city of Barnsdall. This storm outbreak resulted in losses amounting to $6.6 billion. In July, an Austrian insurance company estimated the total damage from the hailstorm in Vorarlberg at approximately 1.2 million euros. More than 5,000 hectares of crops were destroyed. During severe thunderstorms, hail becomes more intense, and the hailstones increase in size. On May 24th, record-breaking hail fell in Turin, Italy. The roads were completely covered with hail, leading to a complete halt in transportation. Bulldozers had to be used to clear the hail drifts. From May 15th, prolonged hailstorms swept across much of France. Thousands of hectares of vineyards were severely damaged, and in some regions, crop losses reached 100%. On May 19th, severe weather in the Lublin voivodeship of Poland completely destroyed agricultural crops. On May 20th, in the village of Buitenpost, Netherlands, so much rain and hail fell that they began to infiltrate buildings through the sewer system. Huge chunks of ice are causing property damage, destroying crops, and already posing a threat to the health and even lives of people. In Slovenia, a July hailstorm destroyed rooftops, damaged numerous vehicles, and knocked out solar power plants. On March 25th, a powerful convective storm hit the Chinese province of Zhejiang. In the county of Yiwu, wind speeds reached the 12th category on the Beaufort scale. Large hailstones, the size of chicken eggs, caused serious damage to vehicles. They shattered windshields and left deep dents on the bodies. Over 11,000 cars were affected by the storm. Some people were injured by the large hailstones. According to meteorologists' calculations, a hailstone the size of an egg, falling from a height of about 1 kilometer, has an impact force comparable to the fall of a 3-kilogram weight from a height of 10 meters. On April 26th, powerful storms hit Uruguay. In several departments, large hailstones with a diameter of up to 8 centimeters fell. Hailstones dented cars and damaged building roofs. On the same day, in the Rio Negro River area, strong winds uprooted hundreds of trees, causing significant damage. Experts found it difficult to pinpoint the exact cause of this phenomenon. One theory is that it could have been a microburst. In recent years, microbursts have been occurring with alarming frequency. These phenomena are caused by downward airflows, which, upon striking the ground, generate powerful horizontal winds reaching speeds of up to 250 kilometers per hour. This can be compared to a giant bucket of water being poured from the sky with a radius of about 5 kilometers. Due to this force, microbursts can cause damage comparable to that of a medium-sized tornado. On June 8th, in the city of Cartago, Costa Rica, strong winds tore off the roof of the Felo Meza Stadium. According to experts from the National Meteorological Institute, the cause was a downward microburst. A similar phenomenon occurred in early November when Cyclone Martina passed through the Moscow region, Russia. The strongest wind gusts broke trees, and 2 residential roofs were torn off and thrown approximately 100 meters away from their buildings. Microbursts can cause significant damage over a small area. This happened on October 12th in the Brazilian state of Goiás, where a sports field was completely destroyed, turning into a pile of rubble as if after an explosion. Meanwhile, nearby buildings, including even fragile solar panels, remained unharmed. At the moment, microbursts remain difficult to predict, which makes them especially dangerous. Turbulence. Atmospheric destabilization not only triggers extreme weather events, but also significantly increases turbulence, creating serious risks for air travel. The sharp rise in instances of severe turbulence, often leading to injuries of varying degrees, is becoming increasingly evident. On March 11th, a flight from Sydney, Australia, to Auckland, New Zealand, encountered severe turbulence, injuring 50 people, 12 of whom were hospitalized.
There were people injured all over.
On March 29th, a United Airlines flight was forced to make an emergency landing at an airport in northern New York State. 22 passengers were injured, 7 of whom were hospitalized. On April 3rd, 2 people were injured due to turbulence on a Southwest Airlines flight from New Orleans to Orlando. On August 11th, 6 flight attendants were injured due to turbulence on an EVA air flight from Jakarta to Taipei. Starting July 1st, Korean Air implemented a rule to cease service 40 minutes before landing, advising passengers to remain seated with seatbelts fastened and ensure their carry-on luggage is securely stowed throughout the flight. This decision was made after the number of turbulence incidents nearly doubled in 2024. These are just a few examples. The year 2024 has been marked by numerous aviation incidents. What is especially concerning is that airplanes are increasingly encountering sudden altitude losses. At the Global Crisis, There Is a Way Out Forum in April 2023, scientists predicted that the emergence of atypical magnetic anomalies would cause planes to fall into air pockets, making air travel nearly impossible over time. Unfortunately, this prediction is beginning to unfold before our eyes. An Air Europa flight from Madrid to Montevideo encountered turbulence and began to rapidly lose altitude, forcing the aircraft to make an emergency landing in Brazil. In just a few seconds of rapid descent, passengers were left in shock. Those who weren't fastened to their seats hit the ceiling of the cabin, and one person got trapped in the overhead compartment. Around 30 people were injured and hospitalized, with 4 of them being sent to intensive care. During the London to Singapore flight, the plane suddenly dropped nearly 2,000 meters in just 3 minutes, causing panic on board. Many passengers hit their heads on the overhead compartments, breaking them. The crew managed to successfully land the aircraft at Bangkok Airport. Out of the 229 people on board, 104 were injured, 6 of them critically, mostly with head injuries. 1 passenger passed away due to a heart attack that occurred during the incident. Another tragic incident ended in disaster. On August 9th, an aircraft en route to São Paulo International Airport crashed over a residential area in the municipality of Vinhedo, Brazil. All 57 passengers and 4 crew members lost their lives. The aircraft fell from an altitude of over 5 kilometers in just 1 minute. According to an aviation expert, the trajectory of the fall, in the form of a flat spiral, is unprecedented. Such episodes are currently attributed either to technical malfunctions or to clear air turbulence. However, the main cause remains out of focus, despite the fact that the number of such incidents is growing as rapidly as the scale of global catastrophes. After all, they are all links in the same chain. One of the main reasons for the intensification of climate catastrophes is the overheating of the oceans, which transfers excess energy into the atmosphere, amplifying destructive natural phenomena. According to some scientists, if nothing is done, this could lead to a catastrophe for the entire planet's ecosystem. To tackle the climate crisis, it is crucial to study all the factors contributing to the heating of ocean waters. Additionally, it is necessary to accelerate the development and implementation of technologies that promote ocean cooling, which, in turn, will improve the global climate situation. First and foremost, this involves the use of atmospheric water generators, which, if implemented on a large scale, could significantly change the situation within the next 2 to 3 years. However, the realization of such projects will require global cooperation. It will necessitate the joint efforts of the scientific community, politicians, business representatives, and the general public. This innovative approach to addressing the climate issue was presented at the COP16 conference held in Colombia. More details on the proposed solutions can be found in the documentary Climate Crisis and Ocean Pollution: Global Challenges and Solutions.